Well, this is a first for us. We arrived tonight. It's only 7:20 and there's people who are fully set up in our site. We decided we just weren't done with our camping season and added one final trip into our schedule, even though we were expecting some freezing evening and overnight temperatures. The cold temps didn't stop us from getting out on the trails, visiting a nearby brewery, and enjoying the incredibly peaceful camping experience. Although we left after work, the drive wasn't too far and only took us about 2 hours, but we did have to set up in the dark, which is normal for us later in the camping season. So we arrived tonight. It's only about 7:20 when we got here at our site, and there is somebody else completely in full setup on our site right now. I made Alan get out because I didn't want to get out and talk to anybody, and he went over and said, "Hey, this is our site." So they checked their reservation, and I guess they're on a different site. So now we're just sitting here waiting for them to pack up everything that they just set up and move to their other site. Hopefully we can get set up soon because we are hungry. It took about 20 to 30 minutes for them to clear out of the site, and then we were finally able to get settled in. So I got out of the truck, used my phone as a flashlight, and directed Alan into the site. Then we just had a low-key evening by the fire to relax from all the excitement. Good morning from Silent Lake. We are here doing some late fall camping. It's 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, so many parks have actually closed for the season. Silent Lake is one of them that stay open throughout the winter as well. As you can hear, there's still some work going on. They're doing some tree removal, I believe, down in the campground below us. But we are here. We are going to maximize the short weekend that we have and this beautiful weather. I mean, the sun's out, but it is still pretty chilly. But that's not going to prevent us from getting out and doing some hiking, touring around the area, and we're going to bring you along with us. Our first stop was the day use area to check out the amenities, the beach, and the trails. They did close down the comfort stations in the Granite Ridge Campground and also in the Pincer Bay Campground, from what I understand. The only ones that are open are here in the day use area, and that's because they also have some cabins that you can rent here, which are right over here. So that would be very convenient if you are coming in the winter, because you will have a fully operational comfort station close by. And another thing I really like about this comfort station is that they actually have individual stalls for their bathrooms, which are heated, so that's nice and cozy, as well as the showers. So if you are coming here and using the facilities in the colder months, you won't freeze until you leave. So at least inside you'll be warm. Now I'm going to head down to check out all of the geese that are in the lake right now. Then we'll be starting one of the trails here. I think we're doing the waterfront trail. Or maybe, I actually don't know. I'm going to have to go look at the sign. So if you saw my video of our stay here in the spring, you'll know that there are 3 hiking trails you can do. The Lakehead Loop Trail, which is 1.5 kilometers, Bonnie's Pond Trail, which is 3 kilometers, and then the Lakeshore Trail that goes around the entire lake, which is 15 kilometers. But right now we are headed out on the Lakehead Loop Trail, and the scenery is just beautiful. When we were here earlier this year, this little creek was rushing. There were some waterfalls and a little bit of a rapid area, and right now it's just barely trickling. So that's a big difference between spring and fall camping here, at least this one little area. It's still very beautiful though. It is such a beautiful day to be out in nature.
Not a bug in sight.
I obviously had to come back. The Lakehead Loop Trail is a great trail if you want to get some water views and also have a pretty leisurely trail. But now we are headed to Bonnie's Pond and we will succeed this time. So wish us luck. We're back and there is a warning here that daylight is much shorter this time of year. So please ensure you are giving yourself enough time to complete your hike prior to sunset. This is a 3-kilometer hike. Not sure if it's moderate or easy. I guess we'll find out. We're just looking forward to completing it this time because last time the bugs were after us and I think we only got about like 5 minutes into the hike before we just completely gave up. So today we are trying to be victorious. We're not even 5 minutes in and I already think I'm gonna love this hike. One thing I'm a little bit concerned about is the fact that it's a little bit more difficult to see the trail because of the leaves. So you just have to watch for where the leaves have been packed down a little bit more and make sure you're paying attention to the hiking signs because you could easily get off track here if you're not paying attention.
My biggest concern about this whole thing is the inability to see the ground. I mean, I have to walk with my head down just in case it's easy to misstep, maybe twist your ankle, step in a hole or something.
Well, it happened. We got off the trail because it looks like people had started their own trail. So we were kind of just following the crushed leaves on the path. But don't do that. Follow the signs and remain on the trail. And while Alan can't hear me, I was following him, so he was the one who got us lost. I bet in the summertime or springtime, this would be a really great trail if you can get past the mosquitoes and the black flies, etc., because you would probably see a lot of turtles and wildlife over here in the pond area. I don't think we're going to see any today because it is pretty chilly, but it's still pretty. There are some moderately steep inclines here, but we are coming to the end of the trail, and I would say we enjoyed it. Well, we did it. We were victorious. We did the trail. We saw the pond, and compared to our spring experience, I would definitely recommend doing this trail in the fall instead. After our morning hikes, we decided to head into Bancroft and visit the Bancroft Brew Pub for some lunch and beer. Unfortunately, on our visit, the brew pub didn't have much on tap, so we didn't get any flights. But we did enjoy the food and experience, and the fries were especially delicious. Then, after that, we walked over to Bancroft Brewing Company to see if we could get a flight there. But we learned that you can only get flights in the brew pub. However, they do give samples if you want to try something before making your decision. After our beers, we walked around town to check out the shops before finally heading back to the campground. We made it back to the park and now we are going down to tour around the beach area and the dock where they have most of the canoes that you can rent. And the sun is coming down. It's a beautiful golden hour. We're down by the waterfront now on the trail and it is absolutely beautiful here. What I really like about this Lakeshore trail is that they do have benches and areas to sit and take in the scenery along the waterfront area. So that's really nice. This has got to be the most peaceful camping weekend we have ever had. And I would say ever, as in like this season and all of the seasons before, because it is so quiet, so relaxing. We haven't been in a hurry to do anything. It's been very cozy. We got out onto 3 hiking trails, made it into town, and it's just lovely weather. So I think this will go up there as one of my most favorite camping memories to date, and probably one of my most favorite parks to date as well. So when we arrived, it seemed that our water tank was siphoning water out, and so we lost quite a bit of water while we were waiting for the people to move sites. We had to go get some water because they turned the water off here, so we couldn't easily bring our jug to fill it at the water station, so we just bought a couple of jugs. And I made a handy dandy little water filler by using a little plastic bottle.
This worked out really well. But I think that's my biggest pet peeve about this trailer is it's got a little water tank relief valve at the bottom. And if you overfill the tank, the water starts siphoning out of it. And the only way to get it to stop siphoning is by running water inside the trailer once you've got it parked. So by sitting for 20 to 30 minutes while people were moving, we lost a lot of water.
So I guess a tip for late season camping would be to make sure that you have enough water, because while we were here yesterday, they started turning off all of the water taps throughout the campground and blowing out the lines. So even if we wanted to walk over, fill a jug and come back to the trailer, we couldn't because the lines are all blown out and all of the taps are off. If we needed water, we would have to go all the way over to the comfort station where they do have water available, but that just wouldn't have been convenient to fill up our trailer like we had to do right now. Alan just checked and we are now at 2/3 of a tank full and we were at 1/3. So 5 4-liter jugs was all we needed. Alan has an amazing fire going. We're probably not going to eat dinner because we are still super full from lunch. Maybe we'll be snacking later, but I think that's pretty much it for today. We're just going to be lounging around the site, keeping warm by the fire, and enjoying the beautiful, peaceful scenery.
Well, it's the morning of the next day here. I got up early to record my YouTube video and Sarah's still sleeping. And I wanted to enjoy the morning here while we've still got it. It's our last camping weekend and I want to take everything I can in and take a look at this gorgeous view. I mean, first thing in the morning, smoke on the water here. We still have the fall colors and absolutely gorgeous. And the water right now is like glass. It's our last morning here. We had our last campfire of the night. We had our last sleep in the trailer. And this is our final day camping for 2024 in our trailer. And we'll be packing up everything until next season. So I'm trying to take in all of the final moments here, even though it's a little bit chilly out. I've got my coffee and nature, and it's lovely. Before I forget, I did want to give you a tour of our campsite here. We are on site 150 in the Granite Ridge Campground, and it is a beautiful site. It's right in the bend, so there's really no neighbors directly beside you on either side. And the leaves have fallen, so it is a little bit less private, but I think once the trees had more foliage on them, it would be a much more private area. And it looks down to a beautiful ravine, so we really enjoy it, and I would definitely book this one in the future. And the one beside us even has a fifth wheel on it right now, so that one can accommodate larger trailers. So normally at the end of my camping videos, I tell you what I liked and didn't like about this park, but because I've already done a full camping video here earlier this year in the spring, I've already done that. And since this is one of my favorite parks, there's pretty much nothing that I don't like about it. I really like this park, and I especially like it in the fall. So what I am going to tell you are a few things about fall camping that may be helpful based on our experience here. And the first thing is, not everything is operational. This one may seem like a no-brainer, but because they closed down sections of the park, not everything is open. So the comfort stations in the campgrounds, Granite Ridge and Pincer Bay, are not open. However, the vault toilets are all available. There's just no running water in there to wash your hands. So make sure you're bringing some hand sanitizer, or you have some water and soap on your site and you can wash your hands no problem. The other thing that I would mention is that it is so much more peaceful here on the weekends. So if you're a weekend camper like us, there aren't that many people here camping. It's really nice because the paths aren't full of people. Just a nice, more peaceful experience if you like that calm camping vibe. Another tip I would have for you is to bring more firewood than you think you'll need, because it gets cool. So in the mornings you may want to have a fire, in the afternoons, in the evening. If you're on your site, you probably want to have a heat source because it is chilly when the sun isn't shining. And the final tip I have for you is to bring lots of layers to keep nice and toasty warm. So one thing about late fall camping is you never know if it's going to be warm or cold, and it has been rather cold here the last couple of days, especially when the sun isn't shining, and later in the evenings it does dip down. So we found having lots of layers to be very helpful. I actually ended up wearing leggings under my jeans last night at the campfire and had a blanket on because it was quite chilly last night. I'm not sure what you'll need if you're tent camping in this type of weather later in the season, but I predict you'd probably need a lot of blankets, maybe an electric blanket, definitely some sort of heat source. We don't really have to think about that in the trailer because we do have a heater and lots of warm blankets in there, but you'll probably need a little bit more to stay warm if you were in a tent. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing what a low-key camping weekend looks like with me and Alan. We enjoyed getting out here later in the season and experiencing this beautiful fall weather and scenery. And as always, if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell because I will have even more camping content coming back to you in the spring. But until then, we do have some exciting trips planned. We are headed to Mexico and on a 2-week Caribbean cruise. Plus, I still have all of my cruise content from when we did Canada and New England. So stick around for that if you're interested in seeing what we get up to when we're not camping. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.